We're less than 6 months from the end of Windows 7. It'll be going out of support in January of 2020. And Steve Ranger with ZDNet there in the UK is with us now to talk about this. And Steve, millions of users, they still haven't upgraded and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are less than 6 months from the end of Windows 7 now. Windows 7 goes out of support in January of next year. Now that means that after that date, your PC running Windows 7 won't be getting any more bug fixes or updates unless you're willing to pay out for special extended support. Now, according to some figures out this week, about half of small and medium-sized businesses are still running with Windows 7, and about a third of consumers and probably about a third of small offices, home offices. Now, for bigger businesses, it's a better picture in terms of getting ready for the end of Windows 7. Probably about four out of five large companies have actually already Windows 10. But what those figures say is that with less than 6 months to go until Windows 7 goes out of support, there are a lot of people out there who are either still to migrate or still have to make that decision about what to do next.
All right, Steve, plenty of people and companies, they're going to inevitably wait till the last minute. So talk a little bit about the timeline and what it means to be moving to Windows 10, as we expect many will do.
No, sure. I mean, if this is you and your PC at home and you're looking at it, it's still running Windows 7 and you're trying to decide what to do, well, one PC, you can probably upgrade that pretty quickly. Even a small office, you can probably do that quite quickly as well. When you're talking about kind of like bigger businesses, enterprises, yeah, for them, there's a big project ahead because obviously it's not just about changing one piece of software. It's about making sure that software works with the other software in your office or laptops you've got or whatever. So there's a whole period of testing and just making sure that everything still works once you've moved that one piece of the puzzle or switched that one piece of the puzzle. So for them, that's presumably why I guess the bigger businesses have moved faster, because they have to, put in quite of a big project here. So they had to get ready first. There are still options if you can stick with Windows 7 if you really wanted to, but you just got to remember that there won't be any more of those security updates or bug fixes which you're used to. So that over time it's becoming increasingly insecure. Now, obviously, Microsoft would like everyone to upgrade to Windows 10, and that may be the case. Some people may decide to go to something else, go to Linux or go to a Chromebook or something like that. And I think that always happens when people are faced with a decision time like this. They might change their mind and move to a different platform. In reality, I think that's quite a small group. I think most people will, in the end, upgrade to Windows 10 because they're quite comfortable with Windows. There's another issue here. 10 is a kind of different type of software in that it's full of these small incremental updates. You get little new features or bug fixes pretty much all the time, whereas with the other versions of Windows, those will be bundled up into big packages and you do one big upgrade every so often. Now those updates and those bug fixes and features, they come in small units, so every so often. That's a different way of dealing with software. And for companies that are very used to having a very stable software base and only changing it very infrequently, getting used to this, they're effectively getting Windows as a service. So Windows being constantly updated, it's a kind of a big change to make. So you've got to think, firstly, we're making this change from Windows 7, which is what a lot of people still got out there on their desktops, to Windows 10. And it's not just about the software, it's also about a way of being. It's about their kind of like how their business processes work. So if they're not used to this constant iteration, that's something they're going to get used to. So in some respects, just changing from Windows 7 to Windows 10 isn't the biggest thing in itself. It's that business process change. The migration on the desktop is just the beginning of the changes you've got to make inside your business, all of which means you've got to start thinking about this as soon as possible, and time is certainly getting shorter.
Okay, Steve, security, of course, it's an issue. And when people don't keep their software updated, that's when we start to see real problems here. But a lot of people, they just won't heed the warnings that have been given.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these dates have been out there for a long time. They're well publicized. Everyone knows what's happening. Well, you'd say everyone knows what's happening. There's probably quite a bunch of people out there who still don't know it's going to happen, but they probably ought to know by now. So it's just one of those things you kind of have to plan in, really. As I say, you may well think these things should be supported forever, and you may well think this stuff should be so bulletproof there are never any bugs in it. The reality is these things aren't supported forever, and bugs and holes in software do exist. Acknowledge that, and make sure that you're moving in a way that's comfortable for you, but also means you remain secure.
All right, Steve, can't stress enough, it is time to upgrade. For more on what you need to know about Windows 7, make sure you head to ZDNet. Thanks for watching.